Welcome back, everyone. This is our next session on student integration and community building, still part of T4.2. Now, when we talk about student life, we often focus on the tangible things like registration, housing, and schedules. But now we are talking about something equally important but less tangible. How do students actually feel connected? How do they build relationships? How do they become part of a community, especially in digital environments where those natural informal interactions just don't happen automatically? And that's what we are exploring today. So let's start by understanding the challenge. Let's call it digital connection gap. First of all, let's think about the traditional campus life for a moment. So there are countless informal connection points throughout the day. So before the class, there are some chats while waiting for the professor to arrive. Study groups might form just spontaneously in the library. Some random encounters in the canteen, club activities, events. So there are so many things that are happening around. And these are what we call ambient socialization opportunities. They just happen naturally when people share the same physical space. But digital learning eliminates almost all of this. So students log in, attend the class, log out. They complete the assignments alone and there are no chances for the encounters. Then what's the solution? So we have to intentionally design community building structures that create belonging across distances. So it won't happen by itself. And look, why is it important? Students with strong peer connections are significantly less likely to drop out. So sense of belonging predicts the academic achievement, independent of the prior preparation. So meaning even well-prepared students struggle if they feel isolated. Social capital helps students navigate institutional systems and resources. And the community connection dramatically improves mental health and reduces the isolation. So this is not a nice to have, but rather we can call it as fundamental for our students' success. Today we will explore 5 blocks for this digital integration. First of all, peer connection facilitation, creating virtual shared spaces where students can gather informally. Second, mentorship program coordination, so creating structured peer support, connecting the experienced students with the newer students. Number 3, study group formation, creating collaborative learning communities that reduce the isolation. Number 4, virtual networking events, so creating different social and the professional development opportunities. And number 5 is a social integration initiative. So it might include extracurricular and informal engagement beyond the academics. And while creating all these programs, for us it's so important to shift our mindset from passive approach where we say, here is your forum, you guys can make friends and talk good luck, to more of active design as the institution. So creating these structured icebreakers, strategic team assignments, gamifications, mentorship matches, and regular events. So we are creating these multiple connection pathways, some random encounters like in real life. Okay, let's start from pillar 1, virtual third spaces. So let me explain this concept. Third spaces aren't home. That's your first space. Home is the first space. They're not work or school, so that's your second space. And they're the neutral ground where a conversation thrives and a community forms naturally. Think of the coffee shops, parks, or community centers. So how do we create these digital search spaces? Academic social platforms, for example, like YellowDick, they use point-based gamification, rewarding posts, questions, peer engagement beyond the formal assignments. It feels less like a required coursework, but more like a conversation. Maybe some casual communication channels like a Slack or a Discord. So it's organized by topic like study help, job opportunities, random pets, for instance. So it feels more like hanging out than the formal academics. So social annotation tools like Hypothesis, where students highlight and comment on readings collaboratively. So this also might be considered as a search space. So this transforms the solitary reading into the social learning. And student-run spaces, so WhatsApp groups, Telegram channels, Instagram accounts. So students create this independently, and your role is to provide the slide support without taking over. So don't try to control every place that our students occupy. Now here are the 5 design principles for making these third spaces actually work. First, student ownership. Spaces feel fundamentally different when they are run by the students versus monitored by the administration. Trust students to self-moderate with light faculty oversight. Second, low stakes. Not everything needs grading or evaluation, so casual conversation builds community organically. So let some spaces just be for connection. Third, multiple entry points. Some students like synchronous video hangouts, others prefer asynchronous forums. So some want academic discussions and others want casual chats. So please offer variety. Fourth, visibility of participation. When students can see that others are active, it encourages them to join in. So social proof drives the engagement. So empty forums stay empty, active forums attract participation. So it's very important to create visibility. And fifth, celebrating the mundane. So maybe acknowledge birthdays, share photos of study setups, celebrate some small wins. So these everyday moments create a shared experience and make the community feel real. Now let's talk about gamification because when it done well, it can make connection fun and rewarding. So game mechanics tap into human desires for achievement, progress visualization, and the social recognition. So they motivate behaviors that support learning and community. So there can be point-based systems where students earn points for posts, replies, and starting a new topics, maybe timely engagement. So you can set weekly targets but allow flexible earning paths to accommodate different participation styles. Badges and achievements, so these are the digital micro-credentials for the milestones, maybe first post, helpful helper, week stay, community builder, and so on. So they're visible on their profiles. They can also, for example, move it to some other social media like a LinkedIn, so they can show this to other people. Challenges and the quests, so weekly challenges, some hunts, collaborative milestones. So this also builds some group identity and they create structured engagement opportunities. And last is a social comparison. Show visible activity like 5 classmates online now, progress bars, celebrations. So this creates a bit of FOMO, a little bit of that. So then this that also encourages the participation. Okay, my classmates are participating there. Why not? Why I'm not being a part of that? Being a part of this part of community or friends, so on. So it's also at the end of the day we don't need to forget about balance. So please use the gamification to jumpstart the participation until these implicit community feelings develop. So for us, it's not important to putting somebody up and somebody down, but it's all just creating this fun and easy and smooth environment, so where everybody is just engaged and move to connect with each other, post more, interact more, talk more, connect more. So this is our main goal, and we need to show that students are. It's not for us. It's not just the meaningless student talks, but this is the our goal of connecting them, finding the some connection points with each other. All right, let's get practical with breaking the ice and forming the teams. So let's first look at some asynchronous methods of breaking the ice, and then we'll look at some synchronous icebreakers. First of all is a video introduction, for example, using the Flipgrid, so students can record 60 to 90-second videos sharing their names, location, and fun fact about them. So it's very important because seeing actual faces creates much stronger presence than the text profiles. We might also ask our students to create interactive profile boards using Padlet or Jamboard, so students can add photos, emojis, responses to some questions. So it's visual, scannable, and playful. We can also play a digital bingo where we say find someone who with different cards with different prompts, so students discover commonalities while tagging the peers in the system. For the synchronous breakers, we can try breakout room, speed networking, 3-minute pair rotations with conversation prompts, or we can show and tell where everyone shares an object near them that represents a team, or also it can be a chat-based rapid fire with quick questions and simultaneously typed responses. And now let's move to the strategic team formation. Research consistently shows that diverse groups outperform self-selected friendship clusters. So use the instructor assignment with the strategic criteria, complementary strengths and skills, time zone and schedule compatibility, mix of backgrounds and experiences, and the 4 to 6 students per team is enough. So this optimal size is large enough to survive the absences, but small enough for everyone to contribute. Now, pillar 2, peer mentorship. This is navigation and belonging through structured relationships. So look at the benefits for the mentees. Mentors demystify the hidden curriculum and unwritten rules. So all that stuff nobody tells you explicitly. The advice comes from a peer perspective, so it's recent and relatable. Mentees have a safe space for dumb questions they might not ask a professor. So they get also social integration and the network expansion, and crucially, their sense of belonging also increase. For the mentors, there are huge benefits too, because they can develop their leadership skills. So teaching someone else reinforces their own knowledge. They build intercultural competence. So it's great for the resume, professional development. And there is also genuine sense of purpose from giving back. And for the institution, this is evidence-based retention improvement. You are building a vertical community across class years, so you're developing ambassadors and advocates, and this is scalable support infrastructure. So mentors can reach more students than the staff alone ever could. So how do you structure a mentorship program? Here are the 5 essential components. One is recruitment and selection. So set a criteria: minimum GPA, communication skills, genuine desire to help, and time availability. 2, strategic matching. Consider academic measure, career interests, shared identity markers, personality compatibility, and time zone alignment. 3, comprehensive training. So this is crucial. Don't just match people and hope for the best. So train mentors on roles and boundaries, communication skills, cultural competency, campus resources, and meeting structures. So 4 is ongoing support. So hold monthly mentor gatherings, make coordinators available for the questions, conduct multi-semester check-ins, provide the recognition. And last is 5, program evaluation. So end of semester surveys, retention tracking, analyzing the matching effectiveness, and also thinking how to improve the program further. And when we talk about the comprehensive training for our students, what should these training modules cover? So first is the role and boundaries. So clarify what mentors are. So they are guides, role models, encouragers. But what they are not: therapists, homework helpers, decision makers. Communication skills, active listening, open-ended questions, normalizing struggles, considerations for digital tone. Cultural competencies, so if there are different students from different backgrounds, recognizing assumptions, asking about needs rather than assuming, avoiding the stereotypes, privilege awareness, and resource navigation, so knowing campus resources, common challenges students face, escalation procedures when the issues are beyond the mentor scope, and the confidentiality protocols as well. Here is the practical framework: monthly mentorship activities that provide the structure while allowing the flexibility. So, for example, in September it can be getting to know you, virtual coffee chat, campus tour, a resource scavenger hunt. In October it can be all about academic success, so joint study session, test prep strategies, time management planning. In November, it can be all about navigating challenges, stress management, practicing going to office hours, progress reflection. December can be looking ahead, so course selection advising, winter break goals, cultural exchange activities, and January re-engagement. New semester will start, and study group formation, extracurricular exploration, and in February maybe all about building the network, so social circle expansion, attending professional events together, library skills development, and so on. So these are just, draft mentorship activities that you might consider. So we don't necessarily find it as, fixed structure that our mentors and mentees in university should follow. So these structured activities, they provide the framework. But mentors should have the flexibility to adapt to this individual mentee needs, their own needs. So not every pair will do every activity exactly same way at the same time, and that's normally totally fine. But As an institution, we are providing the framework for them to work on, to improve themselves, and so on. So it's just an optional guiding tool. Peer treat study groups, moving from this isolated learning to interconnected learning. So first of all, let's understand why study groups matter. Cognitively explaining concepts to others deepens your own understanding. So multiple perspectives reveal the knowledge gaps you didn't know you had. Motivation benefits, so accountability reduces procrastination, and scheduled meetings create the structure. Practically, you get the note sharing, task division, resource pooling, and peer support. But as we mentioned many times in this model, that the problem in online environment is that there is no natural pre and post class chatting. Schedule coordination across time zone is hard, and there is also social anxiety about reaching out to strangers, and finding the shared virtual meeting spaces takes effort. So institutions need to facilitate this. And it's very important here that we are connecting our students with each other because they're coming from different places and they don't know yet each other. So strategic instructor assignment works better than the self-selection here in the beginning. So assigning the groups with complementary strengths, maybe mixing a strong writer with a good presenter, an organized person, reviewing the calendars to ensure that the schedule is compatible, creating some intentional diversity, so mixing the backgrounds, experiences, and the perspectives, and aiming for the 4 to 6 students that, as we mentioned before, that is also large enough to survive the absence and small enough for everyone actually to contribute. Now let's talk about the infrastructure study groups need. First, digital meeting spaces. So provide a dedicated Zoom rooms with permanent links. So no need to generate the meetings every time. So you can also set up persistent text channels in Slack, Teams, or WhatsApp for asynchronous communication. You can give access to collaborative documents through shared Google Drive or OneNote for notes and study guides. You can provide some scheduling tools like when to meet or Doodle to find common availability. Groups also need some accountability structures. For example, start with the shared goal setting. So the group defines what they want to achieve together with specific measurable outcomes. Then they have a weekly micro goals with concrete targets for each meeting cycles. Progress check-ins where members give non-judgmental reports on their preparation and participation. Mid-semester assessments where the group evaluates whether they are meeting charter commitments, and adjust if needed. And last, celebrating the achievements, so marking the milestones, maintaining the motivation, and recognizing their contribution. As an institution, we also need to provide some resource kits. So it can be a group charter template with name, roster, meeting logistics, norms, expectations, conflict resolution procedures, and signatures, meeting agenda templates for different purposes like weekly study sessions, exam prep, project planning, and role rotation system with roles like facilitator, note taker, timekeeper, and vibe checker, for instance. So distributing the leadership prevents the one person bearing all the responsibility. Now study groups will run into problems. Let's troubleshoot some of the common ones. First, can't find the meeting times. Shift to asynchronous collaboration via shared documents, so create 2 meeting times accommodating different schedules, or rotate the meeting times monthly so the burden doesn't always fall on the same people. Second problem, one person dominates. In this case, implement round-robin format with structured turn-taking, so use timed turns. Require a pre-meeting prep that everyone shares and have a facilitator explicitly draw out quiet members. Members consistently unprepared. That's a common one. Have a private check-in to understand why. Maybe there is a genuine barrier. Hold a group discussion about contributions. Consider revising the charter if expectations weren't realistic. Inform the instructor as a last resort. Socializing overtakes studying. And in this case, maybe using the structured agendas with time boxes. So designate, for example, first 10 minutes explicitly as a social time, then transition to work. So make meetings task-oriented with specific problems to solve. Interpersonal conflicts. So mediation with a facilitator or instructor can help. So you can revisit the charter and clarify norms, negotiate different collaboration styles. If it's truly unresolvable, maybe you can allow the group reformation. Virtual fatigue. Try shorter, more frequent meetings, 45 minutes twice a week instead of 90 minutes once. Take camera breaks, try audio only, walking meetings, for example, meet in person if they are living in the same city. Pillar 4, virtual networking events. So these are the structured opportunities to create serendipity. Here we are talking about informal social gatherings, so coffee hours, lunch and learns, game nights, low pressure interaction that appeals to students who don't enjoy formal networking. Professional development, resume workshops, mock interviews, industry panels, LinkedIn optimization. So you are combining a career service with community building. Academic exchange, so research symposiums, book clubs, writing circles, language tandems, so this is intellectual engagement beyond their coursework requirements. Celebration and recognition, so student showcases, award ceremonies, cultural celebrations, milestone acknowledgements, so validating achievements publicly. And alumni engagement. So where are they now series, mentoring, speed dates, career pathway panels. So you are bridging the current students with the graduates, showing them their futures. Okay, how do you design virtual events that are actually engaging? So here are 5 design principles. 1. Interactivity over consumption. Brief presentation, 15 to 20 minutes maximum, followed by a substantial interactive component. Breakouts, Q&A, and hands-on activities. 2. Smaller spaces within larger events. So start with the main room for the training, then move to breakout rooms of 4 to 6 people for actual connection. Then reconvene to share the insights. So we are big enough to see everybody and small enough to create real connections. 3. Give people something to do. Icebreakers, problem-solving challenges, creative tasks. So it's not just the passive listening. 4. Multiple engagement styles allow chats plus verbal participation, polls plus discussion, cameras optional, for example, sometimes, accommodating both introverts and extroverts. 5. Accessibility and inclusion. So live captions, recordings posted afterward, rotating time zones for recurring events, providing the content warnings when relevant, clear moderation to maintain the respectful space. Also on the right side, you can see some practical execution checklists. So it's general one, what to do 3 to 4 weeks before, 2 weeks before, 1 week before, and also during and after the event, such as sending the thank you email within 24 hours with the recordings. Now, Pillar 5, social integration beyond academics, so building the whole student community. We can start from creating the casual discussion forums, so channels like slash random, fitness and wellness, local city, hobbies. So here we need just a little moderation that allows the student ownership. So not everything needs to be academic. Support student-led clubs, academic and professional clubs, cultural organizations, social groups, service clubs, identity-based groups, so we provide the official recognition and infrastructure support. Organize cultural exchange activities, so it can be International Education Week, language tandems, intercultural dialogue sessions, so this fosters the global citizenship. Also provide recognition and validation, so digital badges, ECTS credits for engagement where appropriate, co-curricular transcripts that document participation, award ceremonies that make these contributions visible. And here, in all these cases, we are trying to build something beyond academics. For example, cultural competences, which build the empathy and they reveal the common humanity across the differences. And they also can help deepen the relationship beyond the service level. So students aren't just classmates. And here we really need to make them to feel that they're the genuine community members. So they are talking, they are connecting, they are creating, and they co-creating together. Alright, let's make this actionable with practical exercises. So these are all optional exercises that you can try on. First exercise is designing a mentorship matching survey. So you can create a comprehensive survey collecting background information, matching criteria, both academic and personal, logistical consideration, some open-ended questions that enable strategic pairing. So you can deliver 15 to 20 questions survey with the implementation plan. Exercise 2 is planning a virtual networking event. So you can design a complete event from concept to execution. Please define objectives, create a minute-by-minute run of the show, develop a marketing timeline, build the technical checklist, outline the post-event follow-up strategy. So for this exercise, you can create this full event plan with the sample marketing email. Exercise 3 is building a study group resource kit. So in this case, you can develop a comprehensive toolkit that students can actually use to form and sustain their groups. So you can include a charter template, multiple meeting agenda formats, facilitator's guide, troubleshooting for frequently asked questions. So here the deliverable can be a resource kit, so ready for the distribution to the students. And last exercise is designing the virtual social event. So planning the event that builds the community outside academics, and maybe a game night, a cultural showcase, a creative workshop. So you can include the purpose, detailed run-off show, promotion strategy, post-event engagement plan. So here the deliverable can be a complete social event plan with the promotional copy. So this exercise hopefully will help us to move from understanding the concepts to actually implementing them at our institutions. Thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next video.